International Relations Theories course. Hello and welcome to the International Relations Theories course. I'm Mahmoud Shahidi, Assistant Professor at Azad University. This series of videos are intended to introduce to you how to apply international relations theories. To my understanding, the capacity of a theory to apply different events, situations, phenomena, and so on depends on its analytical power. The more analytical power a theory has, the more valuable it will be. So, the capacity of a theory to analyze phenomena is the most important criterion for evaluating it or for prioritizing it. To better understand the notion of analysis or analyzing, I will first provide an overview, an outline of the word politics, because to my understanding, the aim of analysis is to scrutinize, to delve into the word politics roots, dynamics, mechanisms, entities, and constituent elements of the different phenomena or any phenomenon in question. So, the first part of this series serves as a stepping stone to the course titled as Word Politics, How Does It Work? The point here is that the word politics features have changed, have evolved due to the liberating dynamics of globalization. More specifically, time-space compression, time-space density, and technological revolution, complex interdependency, and interconnectedness of the structures or of the elements of the entities. These features have led to the stimulation of the modes of production of, in fact, global capitalism. That is, the development of the techniques and technologies used in production, the rapidity of exchange of ideas, services, people's ideas, and informations. Also, flexibility of the productive forces, transportation of people, labor, and migrant laborers, and so on. And also accessibility of the means of production, like computers, digital networks, electric or electronic resources, and respectively, digitalization of the capital, trade, and marketing. As far as related to class distinction or social distinction, due to these evolution of the mechanisms of the global politics, the fluidity of the division of labor, evolution of the concept of class far beyond class-based conflicts, class-based social division, and two-class opposition of capitalists and workers, the marginalization of class politics, all of which resulted in this organization of global capitalism. In effect, the flexibility and fluidity of the modes of production as interactive mechanisms, interactive dynamics of globalization and capitalism have tendency toward decentralization of the power. So this situation changed the pattern of distribution of power. The hierarchical model of distribution of power in world politics gave way to the power diffusion. Consequently, power that has been created or generated through these modes, these new modes of production, most importantly, fluidity and flexibility of the productive forces, is diffused and somehow proliferated between different actors, different various actors with different tendencies. More precisely, the diffusion of power generated and intensified social differences, namely the diversity and plurality of actors, differentiations of the rules, and in fact distinction, social less social distinction between different groups and actors, social actors, and in fact dislocation, social dislocation or dislocation in social situation of the world politics actors, all of which disorders, in fact, and dislocations and differences led to the fluctuation of the elements, different elements of the world politics, or specifically different elements of the entities and phenomena. In this way, contradictory tendencies exerted on the structures or constituent entities and elements of world politics, of world system. So multiplicity of mechanisms, in fact causal mechanisms as causality, multiplicity of entities act as causal mechanisms in structural layers are at play. And in fact, they generated different tendencies which result in fluctuation due to a composition of a complex dialectical tension in the constituent elements of the world politics. Different notions, different ideals, different perception, event, and so on. In such situation, complex dialectics, more than two elements are engaged, are at play. So the notion of dialectics in the world politics transcend of two incompatible, of two contradictory elements within a system as a simple process of thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Therefore, social reality are in constant proceeding. In such situation, in the situation of fluctuation of the elements of the entities, phenomena are reproduced, different phenomena are reproduced in successive stages. At each stage, social qualities, social properties, or significations can be embedded in the elements of the phenomena, of the different phenomena. Analysis, the point is that analysis makes sense in this situation, in this context, that is moving from the top to the down, from apparent, from empirical level of the entities to the underlying layers, underlying structural layers. And from the emerged properties which embedded in the phenomenon to their original rules, Thank you so much. This video will be continued.